call from Inspector Gadget?
Yep. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time. That's the cat. That's the cat. Whoa, you had bongos there the whole time? Epic.
No, it's just a big djembe.
It's called a djembe? It's called a djembe?
A djembe. It's like it's DJEMBE, like Django.
Right.
Like it's a djembe. What is it? What was it? Django Unchained. So it's
right.
Djembe Unchained.
Djembe Reinhardt. Yes.
So, hello everybody. Welcome back to Evolving with Corey Castle. I don't have a set like everybody gets the same intro sort of thing, except for the consistency exists inside of the drum. Because to me, that signifies the when I bring it to the ring with me, it signifies the ceremony, the sacred nature of the heart of a warrior that I feel I'm possessing. So when I bring that to the ring with me, it's ceremonial, and it's to show to me how sacred what's done inside those ropes is.
I love that.
When I do it here on the podcast, it's all. I mean, I guess it kind of applies to that too, but it's for consistency. You know, people always go like, "Oh, you just got to keep on beating your drum, keep on beating your drum." So I'm gonna stay consistent and beat my drum the way I beat my drum. I heard a story.
I love the way you beat your drum. I also can I just say this too? I feel like, you know, there's something like I like that, like you're about to go to war. Like, you know, it's like that second Matrix movie. Like they had that weird rave right before the robots came and wrecked shop. But it's like, yeah, we're gonna party right before this. You know what I mean? Like the drums, something about the feelings of the drums and stuff like that. And consistency is a good thing too. Like, you know, I can't tell you how many times, like when I was a kid, I would watch a show and then they would change the theme song and I'd be like, fuck this. I know that last theme song. I'm not gonna learn a new theme song. Fuck this season of the show. I'm done. Sorry, Doug, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like when Doug went to ABC, I was like, I can't with this anymore.
Did they change the theme song to Doug?
He went to ABC. I felt like they changed his theme song. I felt like he got a little bit older. They made a movie. I was out. I was there for the Nickelodeon OG run. Once they changed the theme song, I would get. There's a comfort in the theme song. Like, this is the vibe of what they're doing. But that second theme song, never as good as the first one. I don't know if they lose the rights to these theme songs or something. It's never as good as the first one.
Well, I think that there's red tape inside of the like copyrights and as far as like network distribution and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, like did you watch wrestling growing up?
I had a little phase when I watched some wrestling and I liked it. I was always wrestling adjacent. Like I was always cool with the kids that liked wrestling. Let me give you an example. When I was a kid, I was too scared to watch horror movies, right? But I was always around kids that did watch horror movies because they all had older brothers or sisters or whatever, or like family that watched it. So I would always ask them, hey man, what happened in Child's Play? Can you just tell me the story? Like be as detailed as you can. And they would tell me the story and I was visualizing it realistically, and like when bullets would hit somebody, I would visualize, like I thought for some reason like an actual bullet hit somebody and you could see the bullet like enter their skin and stuff. And then as I got older and Army of Darkness changed my life with horror movies, because once I saw that one, I was all of a sudden like, I get it now. This is fun. This is funny. Like, you know, and I was a kid with nightmares. Army of Darkness, I feel like the movie taught me how to fight back. So all of a sudden, I can't wait till I have nightmares tonight. And I could fight them. I had a chainsaw in my hand. You know what I mean? I was Black Bruce Campbell, bro. You know what I mean?
I feel like you could pull off those one-liners so good.
You know what I mean?
Pillow talk, baby. I love that. It's called pillow talk, baby.
I love that. There's a horse blanket. Get the fuck out of me. I love that. I love that shit. I forgot why I was talking about. What were we talking about before that? I've been told
pro
by
wrestling.
Friends,
you were adjacent to pro wrestling.
Same thing. So I would always ask people, what's this guy's story? Because I would see like the magazines and the pictures of people and the toys, and you know, it just felt like, I don't know if it came on the same time cartoons came on, but it was just I never really tuned in to watch unless I was around other people that were watching it. But I just remember I had like my favorite, you know, characters that I would like play with. Like I would go to somebody's house, they had like a toy. I'm like, yo, can I play with your Repo Man toy or whatever. The IRS guy. I love that.
Yeah.
Erwin R. Shyster. I love that toy. You know what I mean? It looked like a businessman, but it was also an action figure. I'm like, yo, this is my guy. So it'd always be like Erwin R. Shyster. And I would play with the toys that other kids didn't want to play with. I'm like, give me that Erwin R. Shyster and that Doink the Clown. You know what I mean? That Bam Bam Bigelow.
Wasn't the Yokozuna toy cool? Wasn't that the coolest toy?
Whoever they were, whatever toy I had access to, they were playing with my Ninja Turtles. That's all I know. That's all I know. And with wrestlers, there was a thing with, they have like the heels and stuff like that. But I would always just buy the good guys because I wanted to support the good guy. Like I felt like they got the. I felt like I didn't want to give the villains money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm such an idiot. I don't know what I was thinking.
Who would the good guys beat then?
Exactly. The only bad guys I bought was the Decepticons because I like that purple sticker. And I would always make the storyline would always be like, we got to get this guy on our side. You know what I mean? Like
he turned babyface just for this rare occasion so that he could be up on my shelf. He's babyface today.
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, and I remember I watched I had that when PlayStation had a SmackDown video game, that first one on PlayStation 1.
Okay.
I love the shit out of that. I love that, I love the video games, man. Like the arcade games, the video games. I was in that.
They did a WWF Attitude. Do you remember that game for
I remember that.
1?
I remember that game.
And
that would have Goldberg on the cover? Is that who's on the cover? No,
Goldberg wasn't in the WWF at that time. It had Steve Austin, I think, on the front.
Okay, right on.
But I remember
I got him confused. My bad, but I know who you're talking about for sure.
Two goateed bald white dudes.
I get you. I get you. It's okay. I get you. I like them both. I love them both. You ever see that Goldberg Santa Claus movie where he was Santa Claus? It's like a horror movie.
Santa Sleigh. I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. I think anybody goes, "Hey, you like wrestling? You ever seen that Goldberg movie?"
Hell yeah.
It's just like a quick way for somebody to try to relate to me. I'm like, yeah, I like horror movies and I love wrestling. Oh, I love horror movies. I love wrestling. So of course I should have seen that movie, but I never did. Maybe I got to hit up Zach and ask him if I could be on Midnight Spook Show again.
Yeah, bro.
and this time watch Santa Sleigh.
I mean, I haven't seen it either. I'm just a fan of the box art. When I worked in the video store, I saw the box art. I'm like, this looks good. And I watched the preview. Maybe I saw some of it. I don't remember. It definitely came on Cinemax once and I gleaned it. For sure. Love any type of horror movie.
We got to pitch to Zach Amico for us to come on the show and watch it with him.
Right? What if it's like the same plot as the Tim Allen Santa Claus movie, but he's like killed, but it's like a murderer killed Santa Claus on accident. And then
we're like, you shake this snow globe and I'll arrive and I'll kill anybody who you want me to kill.
That's great.
And then there's Bernard. Remember Bernard?
I don't know Brunard, but I like that name. Is it like Brew Nard?
No, it's Bernard. The kid. He was Santa's helper in the Tim Allen one.
Are you saying the word Bernard?
Yeah.
But you say Brunard?
It might.
Are you from Canada? Are you from Canada? Where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from Philly.
Oh, Philly. Okay, got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
so,
I got you.
Brunard.
Brunard sounds like I probably knew a Brunard in the hood where like his mom misspelled his name.
You know, if there isn't a Brunard, let there be Brunards from this point on.
Yeah,
someone's gonna hear this and see this, and they're gonna be like, you know what? Now that I heard that name in existence, I feel like we've got to bestow that name upon a child.
100%.
Or it'd be a good name for a pup. If you had a little pup, like a little Saint Bernard, you call him a Brunard.
Oh my God, that's a great name. Or just Bernard the Saint Bernard is also a good name too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Yeah, dude. Or you say it ain't Brunard.
You know what's weird? Like we all know dog like races or whatever. Like when I say Saint Bernard, you have a thing that comes to your head or whatever. Like
I don't think they're called races. I think they're called breeds.
But whatever, same thing. Listen. But like with cats, with cats, I know there's like cat breeds, but you don't really know a lot. Like I can't look like, oh, that's that type of cat. Like to me, a cat's kind of a cat
because
unless
they
it's like
all have the same ears and tail combo.
right.
With different breeds of dogs, there's different types of ears, different ways they hang. Like with cats, they're all basic bitches. They're
There's
all
a lot,
the same
right?
shit.
They're all the same. But I like a flat-faced, wall-eyed cat. I don't know what those are called, but you know what I'm talking about. They almost look diabetic. Like their face is like wide, and they're like they look like pugs, but they have like the stupid flat face, and the eyes are like, you know what I mean? They look like they snore when they sleep.
Like a Boston Terrier.
Yes. Yes. What are those, man?
I think that's a Boston Terrier.
I like those. I like those cats. They look chill. They look chill.
I'm very much more of a dog person.
Yeah, for sure. Like some dogs.
Okay. First question. You've probably been on tons of different people's podcasts.
I mean a few. I mean, I'm trying to be more selective and to go where I feel comfortable. And you make me feel comfortable. I'm like, you're chill. I like you.
Awesome. So the amount of podcasts that you've been on or been interviewed for different things here and there, what's the one question you've always wanted to be asked but never been asked?
Wow. Can I say I don't know? The question that I've always wanted to be asked but haven't been asked.
Can I say that it might be a cop-out if you say it's that one?
I know that did cross my mind, but I'm trying to talk from my heart more, sort of what I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a good, like, when you're like friends with somebody for a long time and you just start asking them weird questions because you know the answer to everything else. Mm-hmm. That's one of those questions. And that's why I like that question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never even thought about. Here's the thing. I'm also so vain that if I wanted somebody to ask a question, I'd be like, can you ask me about this before like during the show so I could have a good answer to it so I don't look like an idiot? Because I don't have an answer to that question. That's such a good question. I don't think there is something that I wish I knew the answer to that question.
It's pretty funny. I've been asking that question to a few people now, and I wouldn't know how to answer that question myself. So
yeah, but
so I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of myself for not like searching for a joke or whatever, or just trying to be like silly. Like I'm being honest. Like I like that question. That question does not exist in my lexicon. Has that question ever crossed my mind? Not only is that such a hot question, I feel like that's such a good question that I like to think of sometimes like, we're all people and there's wavelengths that exist. And I feel like people that have access to like, say Netflix or whatever, Netflix at its prime, right? They were able to say, look at the movie Bad Santa. And they'd be like, 25 people stream this at the exact same time on Thursday, just because vibes are real. Like I believe vibes are real, energy is real, right? So take that into account. I like to think that when you asked me that question, nobody on planet Earth was asking that question at that same time. That's how crazy of a question that was.
That's like the Mitch Hedberg joke. The Mitch Hedberg joke when he talks about, he's like, when I go to shave, I just assume someone else is shaving at the same time. So I'm gonna go shave too.
I love that.
So great. What about I know you're talking about the vibes and stuff. What is your opinion on like God and stuff? What is your beliefs on that bigger picture?
It changes depending if I want something or not. If I want something, I'm like, please God, can I have this shit? Otherwise, I chalk it up to, I had this book once called The Cloud of Unknowing. I didn't read the book, but I read like what the book was about, and I liked that a lot.
You read what it was called, and I read what it was called,
and I read the back of the book, and it looked like it was about like some priest wrote this book called The Cloud of Unknowing, and it's basically about describing that. And this is how I interpreted it, so I could be totally wrong on this, but it was one of those books written by anonymous, so some anonymous like priest sometime, maybe, I think. But it was sort of about the idea that whatever God is, it's more like a feeling, like that you can't, it's so huge that we can't put it in words, or maybe it's so amazing that our brains can't even quantify what the fuck it is. So in the book, I think they assign like the feeling of love to being a thing that's very similar to whatever God is. So, but I'm gonna be honest with you, and my answer to this question usually bothers a lot of people. I remember I told it to my dad at one point, and it's people don't. This kind of drives people crazy, and I don't mean it in a negative way. I think if anybody needs God, I hope that they find what they're looking for, and that it helps make life easier. Everything is therapy, whatever causes you some sort of stress relief, rock and roll, do your thing, whatever that God may be, God, the devil, whatever it is.
Find your medicine and use it.
Find your medicine, just be a good person. You know what I mean? To be a good person. But I'm at the point of my life right now where I don't care. And I think there's people don't like that answer, where it's like, listen, it's not that I don't care, it's I don't know. It's I don't care and I don't know yet, because at a certain point in my life, say, this is just gonna sound crazy, say I'm a millionaire or whatever is financially stable, say I have a kids or whatever it is down the road. Once I get to the point where I'm not worried about this basic shit of living and surviving, to where I can have the luxury of contemplating what's up with God, I can't wait to be at that phase of my life. Because right now I kind of got too much stuff to worry about than to think about that, in my opinion. Is that a good answer?
That's a great. It's a great answer. It really lines up with what we were talking about right before we started recording, when I said it would be ridiculously arrogant for me to believe that everything would go the exact way I'd expect it to go all the time.
I love that. Listen,
if I believe in this one thing and nothing else, if I close my mind to everything else and just believe the thing that I've been taught to believe forever and nothing else, with just like this like built-in guarantee that someone told me that this was what's going to happen, with that person is also just a person who doesn't know either. So
right.
I gotta, and I think I had one of my really good friends on the podcast. My friend Jeff told me a bunch of years ago, I guess 2018 probably. He said, when I asked him about that sort of stuff, he said, I think I asked him if he thinks about what might happen to us when we die, and he responded to me about, like, maybe we're not supposed to know. Like it's really like, when it comes to the arrogance of us to know that we believe it and we know exactly what is happening. And I feel like I've applied that to a lot of things, and that's why I think these kind of these lessons and these messages to me, in having these conversations on the record with people who are giving me perspectives on shit that I didn't even know existed. But then there's a line in a song by Nako and Medicine for the People. He says, how vain are we to expect a happy ending?
Right.
And that's like with anything, like when it comes to getting closure on a relationship, or getting forgiveness from a loved one, or having this built up resentment towards somebody, and they come to you and they go, hey, I know that I wasn't exactly the right person doing the right things at the right time, but I fully have the perspective to realize now that I was wrong. Like, and it's like, sometimes that's not enough. That, like, you've hold on to that resentment so long that someone's gonna come along and just scratch that itch for you, and you're like, I've been used to that itch. I don't want to just let that itch go yet.
Yeah.
So it's all constant part of this knowing and unknowing and learning and evolving. That's part of why, not just because Corey Castle's my name and it's on the title of the show. That's why I have it at the top. That's not why. It's because if we're gonna listen from the start of when I began this to the end, which I hopefully am gonna continue to do this for the rest of my life. If I have the ability to, I will continue to do it. I'm gonna keep hitting the drum. I'm gonna keep hitting this drum. I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. But you're gonna evolve with me. You're gonna watch me and listen to me become a different version of myself through having these conversations that widen my perspective on things.
Yeah,
and zooming out.
I love that. I love that. I find it fascinating that people are very selective on what they choose to say I don't care about. Where it's like, look, I've had a TV in my life the entire time. I don't know how that shit works. I've opened one up before. I still don't know how the shit works. I don't know how radio waves work. I'm sure I could watch documentaries on it and stuff like that and figure it out, but I kind of don't care. There's some stuff I want to take for granted, and then I'll worry about this other stuff that's laid in front of me, and that's okay, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, I don't know.
I heard my phone was made from slaves. I believe it. That sucks, but I'm still gonna buy the next one. You know what I mean? Like, I just, I need it for work, for what I do. We need these phones, and God bless them, and or whatever universe bless them with good energy, and I hope they continue to make badass phones or whatever it is that they're doing. But everything. There's a way to look at everything where it sucks. Where even if there isn't a happy ending, there's a way to contort it if you're enough of an optimist to make it seem like a happy ending. Like, this sucks, but at least they have 1-ply toilet paper here in hell. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way you can look at it like, this isn't that bad. You know what I mean? Maybe.
I heard a woman say today she made silver lining things a verb. She said, "Oh, just silver. Oh, at least it's not this, and at least it's not that," because it was, it was in a speech about learning empathy, and and it's like, well, you're not really giving anybody empathy by going, oh, let's silver lining this real quick.
Okay, if there is a hell, I'd be next to that type of person, and every time they say something, that thing would show up. So he's like, well, at least we're, not inside of a whale's asshole, and then the background would Family Guy into this new scene, and we're inside of a whale's asshole. Oh, shut up, lady. What are you doing? You're making shit worse.
Well, I think when it comes to so many things, the dualistic nature of every single thing we have, there's more than two ways to do everything and anything.
100%.
Like, there's all different kinds of cats, there's all different kinds of dogs, all kinds of races of cats and all kinds of races of dogs. so it's like to think about that and go, okay, there's heaven and then there's hell. What are the other options? There's got to be more than just those two things, right? There's got to be more than just, and it's
he's like, listen, I was okay as a person. I made it to the suburbs of the afterlife. I made it. What afterlife did you get? I got to the Tim Burton version that was in Beetlejuice. It was weird.
the Purgbergs.
Yeah.
The Purgatory Bergs.
Yes.
Purgatory suburbs.
How bad is it? I mean, we have Circuit City there, so it's not that bad,
So at least we got that. I mean, silver lining.
We got CD players, but it's all right. There's no MP3 players. We got CD players.
Well, Blockbuster's back. now it's finally time to watch Santa's Sleigh starring Goldberg.
Right? I feel like that was one of the last big horror movies that came out when the video store was a thing. You know what I mean? One of those last straight to video. You remember maybe Full Moon Pictures, the guys that made Puppet Master and stuff, that company. I felt like that was one of the last big video release. I used to work in a video store, man. I was a video store guy. I was video store adjacent. I worked at a place called Hollywood Video, but there was a video game store inside Hollywood Video called Game Crazy. I worked at Game Crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Game Crazy sponsored some wrestling shows that I used to be on back in 2004.
Yeah, I feel like Monster Energy drink stole their font.
Oh, yeah. I was like, why does this look so familiar?
Dude, that's amazing, bro.
But the reason I was bringing up pro wrestling the first time a long time ago was because we were talking about the theme song of Doug changing, and it's like they could have made it sound enough like the
yeah, that was good.
And then a little
yes. Yeah,
but they could have done something
in our heads, bro.
Similar enough that it wouldn't have. It could have been like that whole like Vanilla Ice thing. It's like din 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 din, and ours goes din 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 din. See, there's that little bit of difference, right?
Right.
They could have, because they did that in WCW with Diamond Dallas Page's theme song, DDP. They had him come out to a song that sounded just like "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana. It sounded like you would be like, oh yeah, that's definitely Smells Like Teen Spirit, but there was no words to it, and it was definitely like somebody else playing that song.
Wow.
But just very, very adjacent to the actual. So it's like a knockoff, like a bootleg
version of the song, like a cover band did a version of it. It's a version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at least that sounded like something you recognize. Sometimes when they change these theme songs, it's something that's unfamiliar, uncomfortable. It's different, but it's okay. And I was saying, Doug, it might have also been, I think Rocco's Modern Life is the one I'm thinking about that might have done it. But I feel like, I do know Doug went to ABC, and I was like, I can't have any part of this. It's a little different. You know what I mean? Like, I like the Nickelodeon classic. You get what I'm saying.
I didn't realize Rocco's Modern Life had moved to
I don't think they moved. I think they just changed the song.
Oh, they were rebranding.
Mm-hmm.
How could you change anything from the theme song just said what the name of the show was?
Exactly.
And then like it would go Rocco's in like a sing-songy way, and they go Rocco's Modern Life, and then like
that was it. Yo, you think the people that did Rock Lobster did that song? That sounds like a similar guy. That sounds like Rocco's Modern Life.
Well, maybe it's just my impersonation of it sounds B-52y.
Okay, got you.
Well, I always thought that all of their songs were like so dumb. I remember as a kid being like, what is this guy? Oh, no one talks like that. No one like, how is this music?
But as I've gotten older, I'm fans of guys that sing in a weird, that's kind of how they talk kind of way. You know what I mean? Like you listen to some early Trent Reznor, he just sounds like the nerdiest, whitest guy in his basement, but it's catchy as fuck and it works. You know what I mean? He's just, you know what I mean? Bow down before the one you serve. You're going to get what you deserve. Bow down before, and he's just talking. There's no singing. He's just talking.
Doing the robot while singing that.
That's what he was doing that in the sound booth, and it just felt right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You forget how many. You forget. Listen, people, when you think Smash Mouth, everybody thinks of that same fucking song. They had like a new song every 3 weeks. There was a new song with those guys. Do you remember that? Everybody likes to think it's, oh yeah, the All-Star guys. Fuck that. I remember before All-Star, there was always a different, you know what I mean? They had that, what do you got? You might as well be walking on the sun.
I tried on stage once. I tried to get this bit over talking about that song, and I was like, who approved that song? Who said, yeah, let's make that a song? And then everybody like, well, the years stop coming and they don't stop coming. Yes, of course, they don't stop coming. What? Who wants to have that in the song?
Right? Those man, they had so many, but they had a lot of hits.
Yeah, they did that Shrek song.
The Shrek song, but they had more. They could even they would redo other songs that were like popular songs, but he's just singing it with that weird voice that he has. You know what I mean? And then I saw her face. Yeah, I'm a believer. You know what I mean? They're on the basketball soundtrack. You're like, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Yes. And he just saying in that weird voice. Yes.
Oh man,
Are you fact checking me? Are you fact checking me right now? Okay.
No,
that was them. That was them.
Sure. No, I remember from the basketball was so great, and I feel like not enough people can riff about basketball with me. And
bro, in the movie theater, just the whole that their friend little bitch when he's like, no, that's Jenkins' bed, that's your bed, right? Crying. I was crying, laughing in that movie.
He's like, you guys rip on me 12 or 13 more times, and I'm out of here.
Bro, that movie was so fucking fun. I remember being in the movie theater, that locker room scene where you saw both of their gigantic dicks. I'm like, this is the funniest fucking shit. Like, what is this movie? What is this? What is this?
It's like, how am I gonna have a chicken here? And he's like, you'll never have a chicken here. You couldn't get a chicken. You couldn't get a chicken if you had $100 bill
hanging out of your zipper. Oh my God, bro. Yeah, movies like that. People are like, why do you do stand-up? You know what? Shit like basketball, Adam Sandler movies. I just want to make a movie and put my fucking friends in it, bro. Like, which I'm going about it the wrong way. You know what I mean? I should have just been writing a script this whole time. But I was like, I like stand-up. I feel like it hits a lot of buttons, but you know, that would be amazing, bro.
Well, I think
surround yourself with your friends and be in a stupid movie. It'd be fun.
I think that the validation boxes must be ticked, and I think that when it comes to getting when you get that instant gratification of a laugh, it's like you're not gonna experience that when you're in a movie unless you're at a showing of that movie and you watch everybody laugh. Or like, I mean, I've made a few movies where like I'll like watch the person I'm watching it with to see how they react. I'm like, I don't want to see you like they better laugh at this part.
Yeah.
We did.
You know what I miss in movies though that I think they should bring back? I was a huge DVD guy, so I loved
the extra
like commentary. Like I was like, this is my film school, bro. Like I watched every special feature. You know what I mean? And sometimes even bad movies had great commentaries on it, where the director's like, "Here's where I fucked up." You know what I mean? Like I remember watching the commentary for like Monkey Bone, and you know what I mean? And the guy's like, "Well, look, I want to make an R-rated movie. They want to make a PG movie. We settled on this PG-13 thing." You know, Willard, same thing. Like sometimes even bad movies. And I don't know. I love that whole culture that, you know, I get that Blu-rays look better and stuff like that, but we got to bring back the supplemental features, man. It was fun. You would actually get to hear the people making the movie celebrate each other in the movie. You get to hear what they actually sound like as people. You know what I mean? It was a wonderful culture.
That was pre-podcast.
Pre-podcast. It was pre-podcast. It was pre-streaming movies all the time. That was when the video store existed, when you would rent the DVD.
I think every Kevin Smith movie I watched with the commentary on like a million times.
Absolutely. Even the cartoon show, the Clerks animated cartoon,
and
great. I never would have known like show DVDs. Oh, yes.
All that stuff. And that's how I like got introduced to like Neil Brennan as being like as much of a big deal as I kind of found him to be later on, like especially like going and listening to a bunch of podcasts that he's on and like watching his stand-up specials. It's really cool. And I wanted to do a podcast. I'm gonna tell you this idea, and it's okay if somebody steals it because I want it to exist.
A commentary of the commentary. No, what's up?
So we'll do like some wrestling matches will have what's called alternative commentary on them. So like you can, like if you're watching the DVD of wrestling, you can hit alternative commentary, and then there'll be like, instead of it being like JR and Jerry Lawler, it'll be like the wrestlers who were in that match and the referee that was in that match.
I didn't know that existed.
So I wanted to do it where we did alternate commentary, but it's alternate commentary on movies. So watch along with movies and be like, oh, this is the alternate commentary track, but it's just people lying about how they were the real director of the movie. Like, oh, you see that jerk in the background right there? Oh, he had a real problem with showing everybody his balls. Like, you just like make up a bunch of stuff about the inner makings of this movie that you weren't a part of.
That's funny. That's funny. I do like commentaries with people that weren't involved in movies, though. I remember there was this movie. Do you ever see The Rules of Attraction, that Roger Avery movie?
Was that the James Vanderbeek?
Yes.
The Dawson?
Yes. Yeah, that movie was sick, bro. It was based on a Bret Easton Ellis novel. The James Vanderbeek character was like the brother of Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. But what's crazy about that movie is on the back of the DVD, I used to look at the special features and be like, okay, what's on this movie? And it had like the commentary and stuff like that. And then under special features, it had like just a cartoon carrot, like a Bugs Bunny looking carrot. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. That's such a weird thing to put on the back of a DVD. I put the DVD in there, and I want to say you click on the carrot or whatever, and the movie just starts playing, and there's a commentary, and you just hear the person talk, and like, all right, I'm gonna watch this movie. I've never seen this movie before. I've never heard of it. I'm gonna see what it is. What's up? I'm Carrot Top, and you hear Carrot Top watching Rules of Attraction for the first time. You just hear him react like, wait, is that Fred Savage? That's Fred fucking Savage. That's Fred fucking Savage doing heroin right now. What the fuck is this movie? Bro, it was one of the funniest commentaries I've ever heard in my life. Nobody talks about it. I remember the movie, that Brendan Fraser movie, Bedazzled, where it was him and what's her name? Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley. Mm-hmm.
Right. You seen that movie. Okay, so I remember renting that movie because you got free movies when you worked at Game Crazy, right? So I got like 5 free movies a week or some more shit, right? It was great.
Bonus.
So that's why I was there. I'm like, wait, I don't have any of the stress of dealing with normies. I just get to talk to kids all day and fuck with people. This is great. Like, you know what I mean? It was great. So I remember popping in Bedazzled, and I would always look for Easter eggs every now and then. And I remember I was like, oh shit, you can click on like the snake's eyes that like Elizabeth Hurley had like a boa constrictor where it's not the snake on her. And you could click on the snake. And when you clicked on it, it showed you an alternate wish that they deleted from this movie. And the movie was PG-13, but this wish is R-rated. Anybody listening to this can look it up on YouTube. The volume's a little low, but I promise you, it is the funniest thing Brendan Fraser has ever done. And it is so fucking, and I love Brendan Fraser shit. I love George of the Jungle. I love The Mummy. I like Brendan Fraser.
Encino Man.
You name it. Brendan Fraser he's a beast.
Oh yeah.
But this deleted scene, if I ever could talk to Brendan Fraser, I would be like, bro, that deleted scene on Bedazzled, what the fuck was that? Like,
and you'd be like, hey, you've been on lots of podcasts, but what is one question you've always wanted to be asked? You'd be like, about the deleted scene from Bedazzled.
1000%. It was so good, bro. It was an alternate wish. First of all, the movie's PG-13. The deleted scene is R-rated, so they had to like bleep out cuss words the whole time in the deleted scene. He wishes he was a rock star, and he's a rock star that keeps ODing and fucking his girlfriend in front of everybody backstage. And it is the funniest fucking thing because he's like a British guy, you know what I mean? Like, I ordered the fucking creme brulee. I don't want to ruin it. Watch the shit. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's so funny. It's so funny. And it looks to be the biggest budgeted scene in the movie that they deleted, you know?
What about what about Airheads, dude?
Oh,
Brendan Fraser and Airheads.
I saw Airheads, Houston, Texas. Opening night, everybody in the audience got a cassette of the soundtrack from the movie.
The Lone awesome. Rangers.
And I never listened, bro. I never listened to that type of music or anything, but I thought Airheads was so cool that I listened to that shit. I mean, fuck, I think Kramer was in that movie. Like everybody, that movie was crazy, bro. That was a crazy movie, man. Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler. Oh my God, bro. I love those R-rated. He only made a couple of them back then, but those R-rated Adam Sandler movies like that, Bulletproof with Damon Wayans.
Oh yeah,
I remember thinking like
the Keith.
Bro, such a vibe. Yeah, bro.
That dog. When the dog was licking his, I feel like that's kind of the dog you were talking about earlier with the flat face.
100%. Yes.
And it's like, oh, that dog just got done licking his nuts. He's trying to get the flavor out of his mouth.
Right? And I'll tell you what, there was another deleted scene that I would tell people about all the time, and it was on that movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis, the one that M. Night Shyamalan directed, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a scene in the movie. I remember watching the commentary. I think it was the biggest budgeted scene in the movie, but they cut it out of the movie because for some reason it didn't fit. And it was a scene where the Samuel L. Jackson character was a kid. He's Mr. Glass. His bones are made out of glass or whatever. They're very brittle. And he gets on a teacup ride at like a carnival, and the teacup spinning around and just breaking all of his fucking bones, like breaking all this little kid's bones and fucking them up. And it's a very dark scene in this PG-13 movie. And I would tell people about, like, this is the deleted scene on that movie was insane. Anyway, years later, they made that movie Split, which was like a I guess kind of like a part two,
a sequel. Yeah.
to that or whatever. And they made a third one, or Split was the third one, whatever. But anyway, they ended up making 3 movies.
Oh man,
what was the second one called? What was the second one called? Whatever.
Shit.
Well, I feel like the second one was called Split, and the third one was called Don't Split on the Broken Glass, and it was the third one, right? I feel like. But anyway, yeah, Split was definitely the second one because that was the one about the James McAvoy. And then they made a third one, right? But in the third movie, when it brought the Unbreakable shit in there, I'm watching the movie, and my friend's like, listen, Chase, you have to watch Split. I'm not going to say why. You just have to watch this movie. I go, okay. So I'm watching it on an airplane, and sure enough, they play the deleted scene from the first one where Samuel Jackson was a little kid and he's getting his ass broken up by it's the same scene. They use the deleted scene.
They use the footage.
Bro.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, I'm like the only one. I'm like, does nobody know it just fucking happened? This is like a 10-year-old scene that they didn't use for the movie, and now they brought it back. I love that,
like,
bro.
That's like you were a fan of a punk band before they sold out.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I like them before they sold out. And that's how you were about that scene, that teacup scene.
Yep. Sorry, you seem like you're fun to geek out with. You like movies. This is fun. This is this is the longest for the listeners at home. This is the longest conversation me and this guy have ever had. We probably talked for like 10 minutes at the Stand Comedy Club one day. Like, you should do a podcast sometime. Like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll do whatever. So, yeah, that's how this happened. So awesome.
Let's kind of unbox that a little bit, because you were talking a little bit ago about how you're like really into vibes, and how that started was you came up to me and my girlfriend and you were like, you guys have a vibe. Like, if you guys had a podcast, I'd want to listen to it. I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do have a podcast and you can be on. So it wasn't just like we met and I was like, hey, be on my podcast.
Right? Like, yeah, you could just tell. I'm like, oh, you guys are fun. Like, where's y'all's podcast at? For sure.
Well, it hasn't started yet, but we're planning on doing. What we're planning on doing is I set up a Google Voice number so that people can call it and leave voice messages on, and in the voice messages they can ask us questions or advice, like relationship advice.
Yeah, it should be relationship advice, because you guys seem like you have it together. You guys seem like you have sex with each other a lot. That's a good thing people need to hear. They need to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Like, how do you keep it interesting? How do you keep things spicy? All sorts of stuff like that. People want to know. People want to know. You guys don't seem sick of each other. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. You know what I mean? And it's a good vibe. Like, you guys are the couple that you invite when it's like, oh, we have all these shrooms. We have too many shrooms. Who should we call? You should get the Castles to come over here.
So it's also funny because talking about the vibe stuff, and the vibe stuff to me is I feel like we are, like, every bit of us exists inside of vibes. Everything is energy. All of the, like, I had in 2011 I had some brain stuff. They had scanned my brain. They gave me this cool scar over here.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. You know, just a little minor brain surgery.
Some brain surgery, okay.
Right. And they had done all these scans, and they were showing me a live feed of like what it looks like inside of my brain, and I was seeing all these electricity. It was all this like energy, and I was like,
Did the brain go haywire when it saw itself? You're like, what the fuck? Like you just see sparks. Like,
I don't want to say it was a live feed because I wasn't hooked up looking at it, but right, I mean, it was video of what my brain looked like, and I was like, that's God in there.
Unexplainable. God, the universe. Yes, bro.
And that the electricity that fires all the parts of my brain that keep my limbs moving, that puts the wind through the trees and creates oxygen for us to breathe. That's all what God is to me. I think that we are some of what God is.
100. Absolutely.
God is us.
Absolutely. You know, the most I feel, I feel really, what's the word called that starts with an E when you're like Buddhists use it a lot, where you're like almost euphoria? Like you're not euphoria.
Euphoric.
You feel euphoric. You definitely feel euphoric, but you feel very close to God is the word I'm looking. That's the word I'm looking for. There's something about when I watch Carl Sagan, that guy does it for me, where it just that episode 9 of his Cosmos, the original, where he talks about the life of stars and how we all came from stars, and the same stuff that's inside stars is inside us and trees and all this other shit. I can feel there's whatever it is. I don't know how to explain it. I might not understand in my lifetime. If you want to sum it up and call it God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, there's something huge up there. So I get that. You know what I mean? I get it. I 100%. But I couldn't imagine looking at my brain, and that sounds wild. That sounds wild, dude.
So do you? Okay, so experiencing loss in life, like as far as like family members passing or loved ones no longer being with us.
100%.
Where do you think they went?
Oh, I don't. Okay, this is gonna sound. So what I like to think is, it's so funny because I already said that, you know, about God or whatever it is. I don't understand right now, and I will make time to understand that at some point. But it's a lot to think about. In 2015, my dad got cancer, and my mom became his friend for like a month. And then she had like a debilitating stroke. And then when she got out of the hospital, he passed away. But she was still like, she had one of those strokes where you can't walk, you can't talk or anything like that. So I felt like I kind of lost them both at the exact same time. Like the best way I could describe it is like, it felt like they both died in a car wreck because it happened like so fast, you know, and they were divorced. And when I was at my mom's house, I was an extrovert. And at my dad's house, I was an introvert because he was super religious and very strict, and my mom was super loose and fun and laughing all the time. You know what I mean? I like to think that what happens to you, or what I would hope would happen. Let me put it that way. What I think would be pretty badass. What I would like, if I could have one wish about whatever it is that happens, I think it's, you are your vibe and you look how you want to look, but you're your vibe basically of you in your prime. You know, when some people get old, their brains start going bad, you know, like I know lots of people who, you know, like their parents, you know, maybe they get older, they become a little mean, they become a little racist, bigots, whatever have you, you know what I mean? They get a little fucked up. But I like to think that before your brain starts going bad, if there's a God that like loves us or whatever, if there's something that can do that, I would like to think that it's the vibe of you at your prime, at your full potential, and you in some way, shape, or form get to celebrate that. That's what I would want to happen, you know, before your brain started going bad, before the chemicals started getting fucked up, you know what I mean? Before all that shit happened, let it be the ultimate version of yourself that's not bogged down by all this all this bullshit and this politics and all this stuff that's separating people. Let it be a version of you that's just in love with everything. Basically, I hope it's everybody's just on Molly 24/7 in the afterlife, if that makes any sense.
That kind of leads into the question I was going to ask you next. do you have any experience with psychedelic drugs?
I've dabbled. I'm not a whole lot, but yeah, I've definitely dabbled a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? I like a mushroom. I'm a mushroom guy. You know what I mean? I like maybe once every few months or whatever. Just stare at watching clouds dissipate. I remember this because I did it 2 days ago. Just sitting on the grass, first of all, taking your shoes and socks off and putting your humanoid feet on the grass. Is a very what's up?
I learned that's called grounding.
Well, Chase DuRousseau needs to ground. That's my church. You know what I mean? I need to put my feet on some motherfucking grass. Hopefully no ants are around, but I like to put my feet on some grass, man, and just look up and watch clouds dissipate. And I'll be honest with you, I need to look at some stars like as soon as possible. I love feeling small. That's one of my top 3 favorite things of all time. Like, take me someplace where there's no clouds and not a lot of light pollution. You know what I mean? That's the great thing about comedy is I feel like I can just maybe call up a comedian that's performing in the middle of nowhere. Hey, I see you're in bumfucked Egypt. Can I go out there and open for you real quick? I just want to, you know what I mean? Like, I just need to look at some stars, bro. What's up? You know what I mean? Like, let me look at some stars at night, dude. I love that. But be that as it may, yeah, man, I think I think I read an article once and they were like, they gave a bunch of 40-year-olds mushrooms and a lot of their families and stuff. And even the people themselves either said it was one of the best things that they ever did, or their family said they had more empathy now. And I was all about having more empathy because I felt like when I was 30, you feel like your personality and stuff like that, but there's always room to sort of expand your consciousness and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people, they say their personalities get locked in at a certain point, and the only way to sort of get out of that might be from some sort of therapy, whether it be therapy, psychotherapy, psychedelics, whatever. You gotta treat yourself, and a lot of people are in the same box. So whatever helps you sort of look out of that box. If it's a nice drug, I wouldn't recommend the drugs that are bad, but if it's a mind expanding, treat it like medicine. You know what I mean? I don't want to ever do embalmings. I mean, not ever, but most people, a lot of people that do things like that are trying to escape reality. And I only ever want to have it enhance reality when I have my feet back on the ground, when I'm back. You know what I mean? I want to look at tomorrow in a better way. You know what I mean? Be a more empathetic person. You know what I mean? And,
Can we rewind for a second? And
go ahead.
When you said when I was 30, how old are you?
I'm 39.
Okay. Well, we're the same age.
We're the same age.
Yes, I'm 38. I'll
38.
Yeah. Well, so you and we're the same age group.
We're the same. We get it. We watch the same shit. You know what I mean? Beekman's World shit. We know what's up. You know what I mean?
That's a very, very deep cut.
It's a deep cut. But you know what? He's the last science popularizer outside of Sagan that I really liked. You know what I mean? Not there's anything wrong with these other guys, but Beekman was fun. He was a fun. Anyway, it's a deep cut. Don't worry about that.
I got just a couple more things real quick, and I'll send you off into the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so
am I allowed to ask you these same questions, or do your fans already know these questions? Do you already know these questions?
Bear with me just one moment.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I say to you, while we're right here, right now, timestamp this. What is it? The 22nd of June, 2022, 22. Want to make sure I say to you while we're on the record, we're timestamping this right now. How grateful I am that you have paid me the currency of your effort, not just in doing this and setting this up with me, but the fact that that we're just existing here in this level, and I want to make sure you know how much I value that.
Hey.
While we're on the record, I want
thank you.
I want to also extend to you that if you ever feel like there's anything that you can't talk about with other people or anything like that, if you just need a friend, if you just need judgment-free conversation, dude, I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Bro, that means, my heart, bro. What the hell? What are you doing to my heart? What is this? What is this horse shit? I didn't sign up for this. What is this? This is insane. You're like the reverse Disney Up. What is this, a Pixar movie? What are you doing to me? Oh, that feels so good.
I lost my hat.
Oh my God, bro! You ever see that movie AI with Haley Joel Osment, where he's like
that was a Spielberg flick, right?
Yeah, right. It's like Spielberg picking up a old Kubrick movie that Kubrick didn't get to finish, and Spielberg's like, "I'll do this. I'm gonna put Gigolo Joe in it." And you're that fucking teddy bear in that movie, bro. You know what I mean? You're good, bro. You're like a Teddy Ruxpin that can walk and talk. And wrestle and wrestle and podcast.
But we're gonna have to re-explore that movie. It might be on HBO Max. I'm gonna have to search.
Not the best movie. Just look at the trailer for it. You're fine. Just look at the trailer. You see what I'm talking about. You'll see the bear in the trailer. He doesn't say much.
So
but
what
I appreciate ditto. Likewise, dude. If you ever need anything, I'm surprisingly up late a lot. You know, but I'm a morning person mostly. Surprisingly, I don't know how that happened.
Well, this serves as a cool timestamp for our first like full conversation, and it's rad as hell. And I'm excited that it's just the beginning. Excited that it's just the beginning, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. Yeah. So if you want to talk about trying to maybe write a script or want to work on some jokes or workshop some stuff, text me, dude, all the time.
I feel like we got a similar vibe. I feel like, I think you could make a movie or something for sure. I think we like the same shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's good. Dude. It's good.
So with that being said, here's your opportunity. I'm handing the host role to you for just a moment so that you can ask or say to me anything you'd like to ask or say.
What's your psychedelic situation? What's up? Because you asked me a lot of questions that I never thought. What's your psychedelic situation? What's your God situation? Similar questions. I don't want to feel like I'm just, I felt like I was being interviewed a little bit, but we were also having a conversation. But I'm also curious about some of that stuff for you too. And it might be a heavy-handed question for right now. Feel free to just answer one or two of them right now if you wish. That's it.
All right. Well, I'll try to tackle it all pretty succinctly.
Good word. I like that. Succinctly. I like that. that.
So the God situation, I kind of already answered that inside of
when you saw your brain,
the energy and the vibe. That is what created life on this planet and every other planet. The entire existence
100%
is that vibe.
And do you also think it's not something that maybe we could quantify in English maybe just yet? Maybe it's too great of a thing. Do you agree with me on that?
I don't think we'll ever be able to figure that out. I think that's
we got so much in common, bro. We got so much. Okay.
Brian Regan, right?
Yeah.
Brian Regan was once on You Made It Weird, Pete Holmes' podcast, and he answered the question. Pete asked, "What do you think happens when you die?" And he said, "That's the one question that nobody knows and everyone will find out." And just the way he answered that, it stuck with me.
Yeah.
And when he asked that question to Dana Carvey said, "Where were you during the Civil War?" That's where you'll go.
Damn.
And that stuck with me.
And,
so sometimes
I will never have a quotable answer of that because my shit is just like 10,000 paragraphs of.
Well, I summarized it. I think when it comes to hearing things and then taking what your interpretation of it is and polishing it off, like Jeff Foxworthy was on this documentary called I Am Comic, and he said this thing as a human, you just have all these thoughts that zoom through your brain all day, throughout the entire day. As comics, it's our job to catch that thought, shine it off and display it to you.
Right.
So he may have said that exact thing, or he may have said something that varies that on that, but that's the way I'll continue to say it, the same way as I'll quote that Brian Regan thing that way, and I'll quote that Dana Carvey thing that way. So forgive me if I'm not verbatim.
Not at all. Not at all. Hey, look, my problem is, maybe I'd be way more successful if I did the whole shine off thing. Mine just sort of like right out of there. Just I'm big on the word vomit. I'm trying to get better at it, but also it's either that's gonna happen or I shut down a little bit. So I'd rather when I'm comfortable and I can. You make it easy to flow, bro. You make it easy for me to feel my thoughts and express myself and be myself around you. Not a lot of people have that vibe, but I feel like your vibe is, very, cauliflower. Like you can compliment anything on a plate and it's just incredible. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm glad this is here. I need this texture. This needed this texture.
I'm gonna quote Norm Macdonald real quick in the Bob Saget roast when he said, "You've got a face like a flower." A cauliflower, because you're ugly. and a cauliflower in combat sports is when your ear gets all gross and yucky.
Mm-hmm.
The cauliflower ear. I have some friends that have that, and I thought that was going to happen to me at some point. I'm so glad it didn't, because it looks like it hurts.
I always thought you could make it happen to yourself if you just kept doing this all day or something. Would that make it happen to you, you think, if you just beat your ear up like that all day?
Just stay consistent with it. But I think that there must be some type of pressure. I think it has to be with like being in a grapple.
A headlock, right.
In ECW, they did an angle where they did like a storyline where the one wrestler, Chris Candido, they had acted like it took like the 2 pounds of pressure, and they ripped his ear off. They gimmicked it that like his ear, and he had this head like the like amateur wrestling headset on, like trying to protect his ear. And I was like, oh, you know what? I've never really seen. And then recently I had a match where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna act like I got the inside scoop on this dude who had maybe he had some sort of ear problem. So like I just worked his ear the whole match. It was just like everything. I kept going back to his ear. I kept boxing his ears, and he was like, and I'd walk him around by his ear, and he was holding it. I was like, I've never seen anybody do that. So I just want to make sure that the things I do are things that maybe like I've never seen before. But if I was watching it, I'd want to see.
Yeah,
I'd want to see something like that.
Yeah. And anyway. Making it fun for you. Also, people are empathetic. Like, we want to watch somebody having fun. You know what I mean? Like, more so than a technical thing or whatever. Like, sometimes it's just fun to watch someone having fun, and the only way to make that happen for yourself is whatever you think is fun. I like that. It's a good vibe.
So the next segment I like to call audio time travel. Okay. So I like to say the people who care about you the most, or the people who become like, who are your mega fans. Like, honestly, like right now we're still both in the like, we're not super rich or famous or anything, but let's say that's coming. And right now it's still just the timestamp of right before when that happens. So let's say fast forward 2042. Somebody who loves you stumbles across this audio, stumbles across this episode, because this stuff's outliving us. That's why I wanted to make sure I said on the record all that really cool stuff and how excited I am about this just being the beginning. On the record, in a timestamp of this 2222 right now, what is the message that you're giving to the folks in the future that are stumbling across this? They're listening to you right now, speaking to them directly in the future. These next sentences. What can you say to inspire them to be a better version of themselves tomorrow than they are today?
I've said this before, but I can't drive this home enough, I think. Let's just use movies as an example, because Corey and I seem to really like movies, but you can use any sort of similar situation for this, right? Your life right now is a movie that's playing on a TV screen, and you're the star, right? Everyone else who's a celebrity in the movie, it's like you're watching a movie and someone's obsessed with a fake celebrity. They're not real celebrities. They're just people playing celebrities or whatever. The only real star in this movie is you. And there's one person watching this movie in the movie theater, and that's the ultimate version of you. However you project that version of yourself, it's ever changing. You know, the clothes are always changing to whatever you perceive the ultimate version of yourself, but that person walks how you want to talk, eats how you want to eat, fucks how you want to fuck. That's you. That's the ultimate version of you. And that person's watching their origin story, and that person loves you. That person loves you no matter what. It's like, oh, I remember when I had McDonald's this time, but they never hate on you. They're always loving you. That voice in your head that shits on yourself, fuck that asshole. Like, that person's talked enough. Let that person that loves you guide you, and you can put whoever else you want in that movie theater. You can put, your mom in her prime, your dad in her prime before he was an asshole, Bruce Willis in his prime from Die Hard, if you like that character, whatever. You can put whoever you want in that movie theater, but the core is the ultimate version of yourself is watching that movie. They love you, they're rooting for you, and you can become that person if you keep doing your thing, and that person's evolving as well. And it's all everybody in that room is all love, baby. It's all love. So, I know it sounds weird, but that's everybody's vibe. That's the vibe theater. I don't have a word for it or whatever, but that's just, let that carry you, and don't overthink too much stuff, and take care of yourself, I guess. Is that good? That's what I think.
That's great.
And I'm also vicariously talking to myself as I say that shit. So
do you mind if I piggyback a theory from that?
Do it.
I've said this on this podcast many times, but I remember being a kid, and my mom had set up in the room where like our toys and stuff were. The toy box had this area where you could set it up like a desk, and then it could turn into a bench.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember sitting at it like it was a desk, and I remember looking up on this wall here, there was a map of the world, and on this map here, there was a map of the United States, and there was a TV, and like maybe Sega was paused or something, and I remember being like, who's seeing what's coming out of my eyes? I was saying like, my whole life is a movie to aliens or God or whatever. And I started looking at my life. I was like 7 or something, so I wasn't really like, oh, I'm really exploring my life. But I remember looking at my life being like, this is a show, and every day is an episode. And I was really, as I got older and I started remembering that I had that thought when I was younger, I started thinking about the type of cast I would want in my film. Like, I started oh, this person, go work on a different series, not this one.
That guy's life is an A24 movie. Get the fuck out of my movie. You're not right. You're a different genre. You know what I mean? You're
it's just in a different section of Blockbuster has your movie in it.
I'm in this like Pee-wee's Playhouse. I'm in fun shit over here. Get that Darren Aronofsky shit the fuck away from me. That's crazy.
Real quick. You were talking about the movie Unbreakable, and when I was a kid, that movie was shot here in Philly.
Really?
So there was a girl that was in my drama class in high school who was the babysitter. She had a role a walk-on role as the babysitter in that movie. Like they left the money on the whatever. She had like a line or something, mm-hmm. And I remember then, when that happened, being like, this is way more possible than I ever thought it was possible.
Yeah.
And then like doing the shit I wanted to do. The really funny part about it was that girl was like, she was like the head of like the improv comedy troupe out of our school. And I had like auditioned for the improv comedy troupe, and she was like, oh, yeah, we'd really love to have you continue to do it. We practice on like Tuesdays. And I was like, oh, I I train at wrestling school on Tuesday. Like, so I couldn't do it. And it was so hard. I remember trying to get this person to understand like what wrestling was and like why I was doing it. And I was giving up this idea. Like I think I decided first that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and then I found pro wrestling, and then I put stand-up comedy away for a while, right. And I unboxed that way later. But I remember from this girl, and that stuff has nothing to do with being inspired by this person who was in film. So then later on, I went on and I was extras in some films, and I've done some movie stuff, all based off of me going like, if that girl can do it, I can do it better, probably. I could play a babysitter in an M. Night Shyamalan movie for sure. But when you said Aronofsky, I was an extra in an Aronofsky movie also, in The Wrestler.
Shit. There you go.
So I was actually directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Wow.
So this is just a fun, cute little secular, what's the word I'm looking for? Cyclical, full circle moment.
Circle moment. There you go. The energy's real. Why would I throw that name out there? I'm thinking horror movie Darren Aronofsky. I forgot that he did The Wrestler and shit. My head's I'm thinking of Requiem for a Dream and you know, Pie.
Bro, I was
like horror movies like
that. I
was
thinking of that movie earlier when we were talking about like something.
We're talking about the Clerks animated series, because I think the same guy did the music. I think that might have been Clint Mansell. I could be wrong.
But Marlon Wayans, who's like he was in that, and he was like totally just trying to be something different than what you already knew him as, and that was something that was also very inspiring.
Right.
And the way I wrap up every episode is the way we always wrap up is I'll say that I've hypothetically gifted you this show. This has been the first episode of your new podcast, Evolving with Chase DuRousseau.
Yeah.
In a very Jerry Springer's Final Thought type of way. Give us some of the most valuable takeaways from this conversation, and maybe impart some sort of inspirational wisdom to the listeners of your new podcast.
I like that.
In a wrap it up type of way.
I'm the wrong guy for that.
Wrap it up in a pretty little bow.
That ain't gonna happen, buddy. That ain't gonna happen. But I mean, I guess don't be afraid to have conversations with someone that you met for 5 minutes that you're just like, I like your vibe. I like your vibe too. Want to do my podcast? Like sometimes I had a lot of fun here with you. Like I've done podcasts where I'm like uncomfortable before. I've done podcasts where I can't turn on for what, like I can't, I'm just not present. And you're so present that you pulled it. It's hard not to jump on board your ship. You know what I mean?
Well, so that means a lot. I appreciate that very much. Let me accept that, because I have a hard time accepting compliments, because I feel like somehow I'll convince myself that I'm not humble when someone oh yeah, I know I'm the best, like that but I will accept that. Thank you so much, and I really from the bottom of my heart appreciate you. Anybody who's stuck with us through this episode, how grateful I am. I want to also make sure that the effort, the currency of effort that you paid me is so damn valuable. Because you don't just turn the radio on and have this show on. You don't just turn the TV on and have there's extra steps you have to take. So the fact that you took those extra steps, and now on top of taking those extra steps, you managed to like chill with us this whole time. That's freaking the raddest thing. That's why I want to continue to beat my drum for you. So I'm one last thing. Can Can you do your impression of the Claw from Inspector Gadget, saying how we wrap up the show? We say the tagline: "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving."
Be son. Wait. I almost said be son. What the fuck? Okay, here we go.
Be fun, have safe.
Be fun, have safe. Be fun, have safe. Keep evolving.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time. Be fun, have safe, keep evolving.
Thanks. That was the seller. That was a great way to add pizzazz to it.
Hell yeah.
One more thing. Make sure if you've made that effort so far to listen to the whole show or to watch this whole stream, man, go ahead and hit the subscribe button or the like button or comment. Let us know you exist. I love to know you exist. I very much exist as well. So if you comment or you want to reach out to me, you want to talk to me about anything, I'm a real person. I'm going to respond to you. Be kinder to yourself. Be kinder to the people that you love, even the kinder to the people that you don't love. Be fun, have safe, keep evolving.
Hell yeah.
All right.